One of my favorite people. He makes me smile. Blake Corum is one of my favorite Michigan Wolverines of all time, getting set for his second year in the National Football League right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Good to see you, Blake. How are you?
I'm great, man. Can't complain. How are you?
Where have I found you? Where are you right now?
I'm in the Peak NIL headquarters over in Woodland Hills.
Okay. The Peak NIL headquarters. And when the radio audience returns, I will ask you about that. Can you show me a wide shot of Blake? What's with the Nebraska logo? What's going on, Blake?
That's one of my founders right there. He's a Nebraska guy, so I always
show his face. Show his face. Let this man show his face. Who is this person? Yes. Okay.
I give him a hard time all the time with me, eating the corn.
Okay. That's awesome. All right. I associate with, Ohio State people, so I can excuse it. Blake Corum here on the Rich Eisen Show, ladies and gentlemen. We're back on our radio show as well as the Rich Eisen Show on the Roku's channel. So you, sir, Blake Corum, joining us here from the Peak NIL headquarters in Woodland Hills, California, which is also the home of the Rams training facility. What is Peak NIL? Blake Corum, I give you the floor. Go for it.
Awesome. So Peak NIL is a two-way marketplace that I co-founded last year. And Rich, me, I've always been a guy that has to do something with a purpose in everything I do in my everyday life.
Yes.
And so it really bothered me when I was in college that, really only like 10 of us were really making NIL, doing NIL deals. And so that's why I wanted to come here and help co-found something that would help all athletes. Mm-hmm. Baseball players, softball players, soccer, swimming, track, you name it. They worked just as hard as I did to get to college, so they deserve just as much as I did, right? And so on our platform, brands and athletes can communicate, and we can also help you help your brand by packaging athletes. We can package 1,000 athletes that can help your brand, market your brand for the same cost that it would cost probably paying me for one marketing deal, right? And you would get way more attention, way more followers. And so that's kind of Peak NIL in a nutshell. We're doing something with the purpose, really trying to help all athletes across all sports use their name, image, and likeness the right way.
What would you say to those who think NIL is the scourge of college athletics, Blake?
I would say they're completely wrong. NIL has helped me in many ways, right? I had 6 rental properties before I left college. I have 12 now. But also it's helped me help others, giving back to the community. And so if you look at a lot of athletes across college sports, a lot of them are giving back and doing the right things with their money, investing their money and setting themselves up, for the rest of their lives, making these investments. And so I think it's a wonderful thing. And I think, more athletes should be making NIL money because there's too many small brands and large scale brands out there that shouldn't be giving all athletes deals. And that's why I wanted to co-found Peak NIL.
Well, one of the issues I have, Blake, isn't, players getting NIL and getting paid. Because, again, I saw what you did with your opportunities, and I see what a lot of other players do with their opportunities. It's just the lack of rules. You know what I mean? It's the lack of a playing field that that everyone can follow, from our institution of higher learning to smaller schools in other parts of the country that don't have, big noon on Fox or right. ESPN at night or anything like that on Peacock. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, so there needs to be something that makes it, a level playing field for everybody, and also to protect players who have been told this is an NIL deal for you, and then maybe have it pulled away from them. Blake?
Well, that's why you have to have a strong team around you, right? That, all right, this school says they're going to pay me this amount, but I don't sign anything. And then when I get there, oh, where's the money at? That's happened to plenty of players, right? And so that's why you have to have either the right team or you're on the right platform that can help you do so. And we can do that for you. But also, one thing I don't agree with in this NIL space, Rich, is the high schoolers, right? I feel like I know they've worked hard in high school, right? But they haven't done nothing at the next level. So it's hard for me to say, oh, pay high schoolers millions of dollars when your starting, corner, your starting receiver is making less than what the high schooler is making, and they haven't showed anything yet, right? They haven't bled sweat and tears in that facility and grinded. And so I think there should be some type of regulation on that. Um, but I agree to a certain extent. There has to be something put in place um, with this NIL scenario.
Blake Corum here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk about your first year in the National Football League, Blake. Like, what'd you take from it? What was your takeaway?
Yeah, for me, it was a great learning experience, right? Great team, great culture. I love the LA Rams, and it was a great year for me. Just learning, playing special teams, and then going and making plays when I was put in, and just doing whatever I could to be on the field and help the team win. Obviously, week 17, we sat some of our starters, and that was a time for me to really go out there and do my thing. And then I just, had an injury where, I broke my arm. But, so everything happens for a reason, but it allowed me to reflect, on the year, obviously coming off from superstar status at Michigan and then, just working my way up within the roster and getting playing time. But, I learned a lot from it. I'm thankful for it, and I'm super excited for year two. I think the sky's the limit this year.
What's the difference between the NFL and the Big Ten, Blake? And you're not just any Big Tenner either. I mean, you played a ton. You had volume. You had volume and production. You had it all, and certainly for a national champion as well. But you come to the NFL and you're sitting behind Kyron Williams, who's a star in his own right, who also doesn't come off the field. I mean, he's a 3-down guy.
Yeah, he is.
So what did you learn that's the difference between Big Ten and the NFL that might give us a better prism for a bunch of other guys going into their rookie seasons from their big men on campus status this year, Blake?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest difference for me, right? Big Ten, you have great players on each and every team. And I feel like in the NFL, every player, every position is great. And that's why, less than 1% make it. And then, for me, running outside zone, mid zone out at Michigan, I was running duo, I was running downhill, shoulder square. I could go each and every way I wanted. But just how smart each and every player is in the NFL is ridiculous. You can tell they watch a lot of film. You can tell their IQ for the game is really high. And so, as a rookie coming into the NFL, I would just say put your head down, work, stay in the playbook, watch a lot of film, ask questions. Ask vets, how do they go about their day? How do they rehab their body? But I would say for me, that was the biggest difference, just how smart they are. And literally everyone on the field is a baller.
Well, other than coaching a Los Angeles team in the same stadium with a similar color scheme, are there any similarities between Sean McVay and Jim Harbaugh, Blake?
There definitely are similarities, and I would say one of the similarities is how consistent they are, right? You can tell they both just love the game of football, and obviously I got that from Coach Harbaugh at Michigan, but Coach McVay, he just loves the game, and he's the same person each and every day. He's gonna come in, just happy to be there, happy to be around his guys, be around his players. He's gonna give you his best each and every day, and it's something you can respect. And, a coach that you want to play for because you can tell he gives it his all. He's in there early in the morning. He's in there, late at night, just putting the work in, trying to put the team in the best situation that we can be in. And so, I love Coach McVay. He's one heck of a coach. His memory is ridiculous. Like he remembers plays probably from, when he was with, Washington. No, he's great.
You've seen that? You've seen that in person? That supposed that memory that few humans on the planet have. You got a good example of that?
No, 100%. Just anytime in offensive meetings, right? We'll pull up a clip from that might have happened 5 years ago, a similar route, similar scheme, and he'll ask, one of the receivers that has been there for a while, "Hey, do you remember what this route was called, or do you remember what game it was?" And if the receiver doesn't know it, because he's right there, he knows exactly the game, exactly what play. He knows what drive it probably was. His memory is one of a kind, I tell you that.
And you've been around, obviously, again, a championship team in college. Does it feel that way in the Rams building right now? I mean, certainly based off of what happened last year and how the team's grown apparently stronger. You got Devonte Adams in the house, with all due respect to Cooper Kupp.
He's a dog.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So do you get a sense?
100%. 100%. You get a sense as soon as you walk in the building. You just know, man, it was a great offseason. OTAs was phenomenal. It was just us in there grinding, man. And you could tell we were just having really a lot of fun with it. But you could definitely sense like this team is, really strong, really good. We have great leaders, and we're ready to make a run. Obviously reporting the camp tomorrow, and we're going to be ready to put the work in. But this team definitely has a sense of we're going to go far. We're going to go a long way.
You had a chat with Devonte Adams yet? You ever in any conversations with him, Blake?
Just some one-on-ones. He likes talking a little bit of golf.
Oh.
He's a golfer, but just from watching him from afar, not even having deep conversations with him, you can just tell why he's been one of the best in the league, why he's going to be a Hall of Famer, and why he's still playing at a high level. Just the way he goes about his day, the way he practices, man, his releases, they're one of a kind. He's amazing, man. I'm super excited just to see him in action this year.
So a couple of minutes left with Blake Corum here on the Rich Eisen Show. You want to? I was speaking of golf. I saw Devonte Adams at the American Century Championship out there in Lake Tahoe, and I saw a bunch of Vikings fans that nonstop were asking me, "How is JJ McCarthy going to do?" And I know this is no longer your lane. You're professionals. As a matter of fact, the Rams took care of the Vikings in the playoffs last year, as we know. But what's your answer to J.J. McCarthy? What an opportunity he has. I mean, he's got the reigning coach of the year, who everybody knows around those parts because O'Connell came from the Rams and McVay's staff. And that's Justin Jefferson there and Jordan Addison there and Aaron Jones there and Hawkinson there. And I could keep going on and on. But the question mark is J.J. McCarthy. What can you tell Vikings fans about his abilities?
I mean,
Blake?
JJ is a very consistent player, athlete. He's very smart. And if we just go back to how he was playing in the preseason, right? I mean, he was playing really well. And I know the Vikings fans were excited to see him, but unfortunately, he had injuries and, everything happens for a reason. He might have needed that year, but I think he's going to be very successful this year. I think he's going to play with that chip on his shoulder just to prove to himself and everyone else, he is who he says he is. And I mean, he has the tools around him to be successful. So, just knowing JJ, knowing how he grinds, knowing, how smart he is and his love for the game, I see a very successful year, for him and his crew.
Okay. And 40 days from now, Team 146 will come out of the tunnel in the big house to take on New Mexico. What do you think?
Yep.
Is Bryce Underwood going to be the starting quarterback? Blake, what do you think?
I would assume so. I don't know if you knew, but I was the honorary head coach of the spring game. And so I had the mic on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to watch him during the weekend practice. And he had some good completions during the game. But technically he should still be in high school, but he was still out there making throws. Man, he's big, he's strong, he's fast. You could tell how smart he is, and he has a heck of an arm on him. But just watch him in practice, the throws that he was making, top notch, man. Top notch. I assume he's going to be the starter. Obviously, he has to win that position, but I think it's going to be a good year for my Wolverines, and I think we're going to do the last game of the year. We're going for number five this year. Five this year, Rich?
Listen, Blake, from your mouth to the football god's ears that it's 5 in a row, because it's just so it's what a coat of armor to go out and about into a world in which the Ohio State Buckeyes are national champions, and hearing about it to basically have a retort. Again, they're national champions and they were a stupendous team, but especially here, Jack Sawyer now getting set to play with the Steelers and take his tremendous talents to the NFL.
Yeah.
Him basically saying that loss to Michigan sparked us. It's just great, to basically respond. Tell me the last national champion to go undefeated and win their conference. It ain't the ones that currently have the trophy, Blake. It's just great. So
That's right.
5 would be
That's
awesome.
Right.
5 would be great. But you know, we had Bryce Underwood here in studio. When was this, guys? Like 2 months ago, right? We was here.
In the spring.
And the thing that obviously his size is jarring when you see him in person. Mm-hmm. But to me, I couldn't believe, you know, my son's 16. I couldn't believe that this guy is only 1 year older than my son at this point in time. Right. But the thing was, too, I asked him what it's going to be like if he runs out of the tunnel as a starting quarterback. He's like, I've had cameras on me my whole life. You know what I mean? Like he kind of has, you know, obviously the heart will be going if he does start. And
this is the love for the game.
But he just strikes me as like he already... how he was giving LeBron crap for beating Ohio State, you know what I mean? And he seems comfortable in his own skin as a star. Obviously, he's got to play like one, but right. I kind of dug that, having met him.
I mean, you can feel his aura. You can feel, you know, he walks around with confidence, right? Like he has a little pep in his step. And if I was him, the success he's had, I mean, I would too. And I believe, you know, the way he's carrying himself as an early enrollee. You know, now freshman, you know, very mature to be a freshman in college. So I think he'll definitely be a great leader, you know, for the team and be able to carry this team. So my Wolverines, I think they're going to do a great job. And Coach Moore, he's been recruiting, and they have a heck of a recruiting class. They've been getting them left and right. So we're going to see, man.
Yeah, and he's got his golf tournament today, right now in Ann Arbor. As a matter of fact, they're playing there. I wish I could have been there, but it's good to see you, Blake.
Likewise.
The gentleman to your right is the one who helped you, who you joined forces with to create Peak NIL.
Yes, the gentleman to the right.
What's his name?
Greg Jackson, and then my other co-founder, Brian Segrist, in the back.
Love it.
So he's a coder.
But that's Blake to your right. That's his name. What's his name? To your right?
That's Greg, and that's
Greg.
Brian.
Okay, Greg. So tell Greg that on September 21st. It's a Sunday. I don't know what game you have that day, but you'll be busy that day for the Rams. Okay. But on September 21st, we're going to have to take that poster board over your right shoulder that features you on the Sports Illustrated cover, and proudly cover up that N over your left shoulder. That's what's going to have to happen.
I'll let him know. I think he already knows.
He already knows that September 20th game is going to be trouble.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. September 20th is going to be trouble, G-Money.
Yeah, that should be. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. He knows. I give him all the time. I give him crap all the time. You know, especially when they thought they were going to beat us in 21.
There you go. Right.
You know, I had to eat the corn on them. You know what I'm saying, Rich?
Understood. I don't mean to, you know, create any office dissension or take over your decorations, but that's going to have to happen September 21st, because September 20th, although it is in Lincoln, you know, and they got Baby Mahomes there. So
they do.
I know. So thanks for the time, Blake. You're the man.
No, thank you so much.
All right, everybody, check out Peak NIL wherever you can on the internet and all the social medias. That's Blake Corum here on the Rich Eisen Show, one of my favorite humans.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.